Every conspiracy begins with a question someone wasn't supposed to ask.
In the remote wilderness of Alaska, approximately 200 miles northeast of Anchorage, there is a field of antennas, 180 of them, arranged in a precise grid across 33 acres of boreal forest, connected to transmitters capable of generating 3.6 megawatts of radio frequency energy, enough to heat a small section of the upper atmosphere to temperatures measurable from the ground. It is called the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HAARP, and according to a significant portion of the Internet, it is responsible for Hurricane Katrina, the 2010 Haiti earthquake, the 2011 Fukushima tsunami, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, mass animal die-offs, global warming, mind control, and the systematic modification of weather patterns across the entire planet, conducted in secret by the United States military, for purposes that vary depending on who you ask. None of that is true, but here is what is true. HAARP is real. The research is real. The military funded it. The government was not entirely transparent about it, and for years, the facility was classified enough that getting straight answers required persistent freedom of information requests. The gap between what HAARP actually does and what people believe it does is one of the largest in modern conspiracy thinking. This episode is about that gap, what HAARP actually is. The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program was established in 1993 in Gakona, Alaska. It was jointly funded by the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy, DARPA, and the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Its stated purpose, and its actual purpose, as confirmed by decades of published peer-reviewed research, was to study the ionosphere. The ionosphere is the uppermost layer of Earth's atmosphere, approximately 60 to 1,000 kilometers above the surface. It plays a critical role in long-distance radio communication, GPS navigation, and the behavior of charged particles from the Sun. Understanding the ionosphere has enormous practical implications. For military communications, for early warning systems, for satellite navigation, for understanding space weather. HAARP studies it by transmitting high-frequency radio waves into the ionosphere and measuring the response. The heating effect this creates is real, but it affects an area roughly the size of a large city, at altitudes where commercial aircraft never fly, for durations measured in minutes. It cannot control weather. It cannot trigger earthquakes. It cannot influence human thought. The physics don't allow it, but physics has never been the point, where the theory comes from. The HAARP conspiracy theory has a specific origin, and like most conspiracy theories, it begins with something real. In 1995, two authors named Nick Begich and Gene Manning published a book called Angels Don't Play This HAARP. It argued that HAARP was a weapons program disguised as research, that it could be used to disrupt communications, alter weather, and potentially affect human neurological function. The book was not peer-reviewed. Many of its technical claims were incorrect, but it was the first widely distributed English-language document to frame HAARP as a threat. And it established the interpretive framework that millions of people would later apply to every natural disaster, every unexplained event, every anomalous weather pattern. The framework was simple. HAARP is powerful. HAARP is military. HAARP is not fully transparent. Therefore, HAARP could be responsible for anything we cannot otherwise explain. That logic, powerful plus secretive plus unexplained equals responsible, is the same logic we have seen in every episode of this series. It is not unique to HAARP. It is the architecture of conspiracy. The Venezuelan connection. In 1998, the European Parliament passed a resolution calling for an international convention to ban HAARP as a weapon system. Read that again. The European Parliament, an official legislative body, passed a resolution about HAARP, not because they had evidence it was a weapon system, but because the concerns had become prominent enough, and the United States government's explanations had been opaque enough that elected officials felt they needed to respond. The resolution went nowhere, but its existence became evidence for conspiracy believers that even governments were taking HAARP seriously as a threat. This is the paradox that HAARP created. The more official bodies engaged with the claims, even to dismiss them, the more the claims gained legitimacy. In 2010, after the Haiti earthquake killed over 200,000 people, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez stated on state television that the earthquake had been caused by a U.S. tectonic weapon, specifically HAARP. He provided no evidence. He didn't need to. The claim spread instantly across social media, across conspiracy forums, across communities that had spent 15 years building an interpretive framework in which HAARP was already capable of anything. The accusation confirmed what they already believed. The 2014 closure. In 2014, the U.S. Air Force announced it was transferring control of HAARP to the University of Alaska Fairbanks and temporarily shutting down operations. For the conspiracy community, this was not evidence that HAARP was an ordinary research facility being defunded due to budget constraints. It was evidence that HAARP had completed its mission, that whatever it had been built to do had been done, and that the visible facility was being abandoned while the real program continued elsewhere, underground, classified, invisible. The University of Alaska eventually resumed operations in 2015 and continues to run the facility as a legitimate research installation to this day. It hosts open houses. It publishes its research. Scientists from around the world use it. None of this has significantly changed the conspiracy narrative, because the narrative was never really about HAARP. It was about the belief that powerful institutions are using invisible technologies to control the world, and that the proof of this control is precisely its invisibility. You cannot disprove what cannot be seen, what HAARP and chemtrails have in common. We covered chemtrails earlier in this series, and HAARP and chemtrails are, in the conspiracy community, deeply connected, two halves of the same theory. Chemtrails seed the atmosphere with conductive particles. HAARP activates those particles using radio frequency energy. Together they form a system of atmospheric control, weather modification, population management, military dominance over the skies. Neither part of this theory is supported by evidence. But the connection reveals something important about how conspiracy ecosystems work. Individual theories don't stay individual. They absorb each other. They connect. They form networks of mutually reinforcing claims in which each theory provides evidence for the others. HAARP explains chemtrails. Chemtrails explain HAARP. Both explain every unusual weather event, every earthquake, every flood. The network becomes self-sealing, internally consistent, resistant to outside evidence, capable of absorbing any new event as confirmation. This is what researchers call a conspiracy supersystem, a collection of theories so thoroughly interconnected that challenging any one element feels like challenging the entire worldview, and that is much harder to do. Germany and the European dimension. HAARP is not only an American concern. In Germany and across Europe, HAARP became embedded in the same communities that embrace chemtrails, Querdenken, and anti-vaccine movements. The specific anxiety in the German context is slightly different, less about American military dominance in the abstract, more about the specific memory of being subject to external powers, of technological control imposed from outside, of sovereignty compromised. German HAARP communities often frame the facility not as an American weapon against its own population, but as an American weapon against the world, against Europe, against Germany specifically. This framing connects HAARP to older anxieties about American military presence in Germany, NATO bases, nuclear weapons, the long shadow of the Cold War, and gives the theory a political resonance that purely scientific debunking cannot address.
This is not a new anxiety. In 1986, after Chernobyl sent radioactive clouds across Europe without warning, West German citizens experienced firsthand what it meant to have no control over what entered their air. The state had no answer. Science had no comfort. The damage was invisible, the source was foreign, and the authorities were slow. HAARP arrived into a culture that already knew, from lived experience, that external forces could poison the air without permission. The theory is wrong. The memory it speaks to is not.
The open house that changed nothing. In recent years, the University of Alaska has hosted multiple public open house events at the HAARP facility. Scientists explain the research. Visitors can ask questions. The equipment is visible. The published papers are accessible. The researchers are real people with real careers and real peer-reviewed publications. A 2019 open house attracted hundreds of visitors, including reportedly some who came specifically because they believed HAARP was a weapon system and wanted to see it for themselves. Most left unconvinced that it was innocent, not because the evidence was insufficient, because the evidence was interpreted through a framework in which transparency itself is part of the deception. The open house was proof that the real HAARP was hidden elsewhere. The published research was the cover story. The friendly scientists were the public face of something darker. We saw this pattern with the protocols. We saw it with chemtrails. We see it here. Once the framework is in place, no amount of evidence can dismantle it from outside. The framework has to change from within. And that only happens when the need that the framework is meeting, the need for explanation, for meaning, for an enemy responsible for the chaos, is met by something else, something true. So what do you do with that? The HAARP facility in Alaska is a legitimate scientific research installation. It studies the ionosphere. It publishes its findings. It does not control weather, trigger earthquakes, or influence human thought. This is not a matter of opinion. It is a matter of physics. But the feeling that powerful institutions are using invisible technologies without full public accountability, that feeling is not irrational. Governments have classified research programs. Militaries have developed weapons they don't announce. Institutions have lied about what they were doing. As we established beyond any doubt when we talked about MK Ultra, the instinct that says something powerful is happening that we are not being told about is sometimes correct. HAARP is not the example that proves it, but the instinct is not crazy, and the question this series returns to every episode is not how we mock the people who look at a field of antennas in Alaska and see something sinister. The question is what we build instead. What institutions transparent enough, accountable enough, honest enough, that the gap between what they do and what they say never becomes wide enough for a weather weapon to grow inside it. This is Conspiracy Explained. Not to debunk, not to mock, to understand. Because the ideas that seem most absurd are often telling us something true, just about the wrong thing.